Hello everyone. Now I will go from Slovak language to English language. I hope it's okay for you. If you want, you can listen to the translation. We have someone sitting in the booth and translating it back into Slovak language. If someone later wants to ask a question in German, I'm happy to take that as well. Who of you have actually watched the Olympic Games ever? Everyone? You have never watched the Olympic Games? Okay, you were just too lazy with the arm. Got that. Actually, the challenge we have with the Olympic Games is 5 billion people around the globe are watching the Olympic Games during the 17 days when we have the Olympics, and then later as well the Paralympic Games. With the winter sports it's a bit less. With the summer sports it's about almost the whole population of the world. And what we have as a challenge is always, what are we doing in the 2 years in between, or the 4 years in between the summer and the next summer games, or the winter and the next winter games? And that was a challenge in the past. We realized very quickly, for example, in London 2012, that was probably the first Olympic Games that we called the digital games, because we did a lot on digital at that time. But again, after the games were finished, the thing is closing, the website goes down of the London 2012, and we're not doing anything anymore. And when Thomas Bach was elected as president of the International Olympic Committee in 2013, he came up with an idea that he had already in mind a long time ago, in 1994. He thought maybe we should do and start a kind of platform that is a sports channel globally for the world, to actually show a little bit what we could do. At the time in 1994, he had the idea of a television channel, but when he was elected in 2013, he was adapting a little bit to the world and thought more of a digital channel. Because what we realized with the Olympic Games, the people who were watching the Olympic Games got older and older, and the young generation did not watch anymore the Olympic Games, because they don't like these TV screens or the LED screens that we have here. They like only their telephones and the small devices, and they want to watch short clips, and they want to watch it not in 3 hours live, they want to watch it in 3 minutes or 80 seconds or 20 seconds. So what we did is we started a new operation which is called the Olympic Channel, and to show you a little bit what is behind, we'll show you that video.
On these wondrous stages, the world has celebrated the culmination of some of the greatest tales ever told. But what if the momentous truth was that the games were merely the beginning? This is the new beginning, a new way to revel in the most indelible stories in sport, a new worldwide digital network, chronicling sport's most intriguing characters, improbable journeys, and incredible possibilities. Available anytime you want, anywhere, and any way you want. They are the tales that embody the ideal of a life without limits, where ambition is fundamental and purpose essential. Whether you're looking for inspiration, motivation, insight, or simply a great story, the perfect destination has arrived. To immerse yourself in every turn of their sagas, and discover the infinite wonders of all they evoke. From the brightest spotlights to the most far-flung corners of the globe.
It's not about what you wish you had or what you don't have. Doing your best is taking what you have right here, in here, and putting it out there right then.
It's not about Greece or about a little girl. It's about a whole idea, the Olympic idea.
Put in the hard work and have a goal, and you can really achieve anything you want to. Yeah, and most of us, we started barefoot because we didn't have shoes.
It helps my self-esteem knowing that I'm competing at the same level as everybody else.
Sport is a way of surviving, and sport saved me actually, to be honest. To so many, the Olympic Games embody so much about what the world can be. But the truth is that the Games themselves are merely the start. It's what they represent that offers so much more. It's what they mean that's so momentous. This is the Olympic Channel.
Our launch video from 2016, when we launched it, featured by Kaigo. And just to give you an idea, and that's probably the challenge that a lot of sport organizations have in the world, the IOC has about 50,000 hours of HD video content lying in the archive. And everyone watches this during the games, and then it falls apart and it's gone. And what we wanted to bring back is actually all these archives and to bring it back, to make it visible outside of the Olympic Games. Another project that we're currently doing and that you see right now here on the slide is actually the results. Because if you watch Olympic Games, one of the things that you normally go onto the website, for example, next year in Tokyo when we have the Tokyo 2020 Games, or next year in January when we have the Youth Olympic Winter Games in Lausanne, people are looking for results. And all of this, the combination of the results, the video, the photo, that we wanted to bring together. So we did a project which is not yet fully public, but it's about to get ready for after Tokyo. Until Tokyo, we're still working with the old version. After Tokyo, this version will become new. And that's something which is not just for us, for the International Olympic Committee or the Olympic Channel. That's something then as well for the national Olympic committees, for federations, international federations, national federations, and the athlete themselves. Because we want to enable the athletes getting their results automatically into their social media, into their website. That's why we are developing currently a data warehouse where we get the results from the international federations, from their competitions automatically in, and we then link it back to the athlete. So an athlete can actually go in the future in his own biography. They cannot change the results, even if they would like, but they can change the trivia if they have a new boyfriend, new girlfriend, if they have different colors, preferred music, all of this, what the people actually outside want to understand a bit more about the athletes. So we did the first project in Buenos Aires at the Youth Olympic Games, and this is a little bit the look. So Magdalena Neuner, of course, was not competing at the Youth Olympic Games. That's a mock-up. But an athlete could actually choose its own color scheme, was automatically connected to the results of Buenos Aires, and could connect that into automatically his website, her website, social media, so that when there was a competition coming up, it was automatically warning the fans, hey guys, in one day I'm competing, don't forget me, support me. Or when the competition was over, the athlete got automatically, hey, I became third, I became first, I became 52nd. The athletes have a possibility of filtering. If someone doesn't want to announce that he or she became 52nd, they can say, show only results from 1 to 3 or 1 to 8. So we want to make it, the whole system, more available to the athletes themselves, and therefore as well to the National Olympic Committees, to the federations. And then we want to link it later as well back to the videos, so that if you search for a result, you get automatically the result, but you get as well the proposal, what kind of content is lying behind and what you can watch. That was never done before, because until now, all the federations had their own databases. Some have better ones, some have no ones. Here, we're bringing the whole world of sports together in this data project, which is a new project and should become live after the Tokyo Games. I'm talking a little bit about now Slovakia, because what it means, I mean, the IOC, we put about 450 million euro into this project for the first 7 years, which is a huge amount of money. But it's not just for the IOC, it's actually for the whole world, for all the NOCs. And here I show you an example. We produced as well with Danka, who just won the title at the European Championships this weekend, I heard. I wasn't in Europe, but I got the message yesterday when I came back. So congratulations for gold individual and team silver, if I'm correctly informed. But you will see, we'll play a quick video, and you see that is a piece of content that the Olympic Channel has produced. But that piece of content can sit as well on Danka's website, can sit as well on the Slovak Republic's NOC website. It can go to the National Federation's website, because we have possibilities of embedding that. Let's play the video of Danka.
I think I'm an open book. I'm Danka Barteková, and I'm a shooter from Slovakia. Well, I was a very ambitious child, and of course I was doing some stuff my parents didn't like. And I ended up with shooting because my father was a hunter. And since the first shot, I have to say it was a love on a first shot. London Games were just awesome for me. I was quite self-confident. I came there fully prepared for everything. But then the final came, and I remember that I had a very hard time there. Because the first thing I entered to the shooting range, I looked to the audience stand, and I've seen our president and all the people, all the fans cheering for me, and that put a lot of pressure on myself. And there was a shoot-off, which was a kind of pressure, kind of thrilling moment, and the highlight of my performance, because I managed really well and I got the medal after all. I was asked by the media what I was listening in my headphones, because everyone who met me, I had my headphones in my ears, listening to the music, and I never said that it was 3 songs repeating and repeating. One was for the warm-up, which was a very quick song, quick rhythm. Then one for concentration, and one for just the well-being. So it was these 3 songs. But every time I know that I could shoot better, I could do better, and I didn't, I'm disappointed. And I have cried many times. I remember my mom giving me her shoulder after the competition, and it's always some kind of easing the pain that you have inside. I'm traveling to Rio as the shooter in the best age for shooting, very well experienced. And I'm sure that everyone will expect good results from me, including myself, of course. I'm not putting any color of the medal or any ranking into my head. I just want to go there, perform my best, and see afterwards how good it was.
That we call the chat with champions. And that's just one example. We have tons in the meantime. I think we have about 15,000 video examples that we have sitting on a website. Let's quickly switch to my laptop. That is a website which is on the back end, which we call olympicchannelvideos.com. And here I did just already the research on Slovakia, and you see we have right now 70 pieces of video content sitting here. And if I click, for example, on this one, because you're not good just in shooting, you are as well good in some other sports on the water. We have, for example, here from the Canoe Sprint Beijing as well a video, and it should even be able to play. That's just a small example, but it shows you that was the canoe sprint in Beijing. They got the silver medal. And this is probably now, I think, a 1:55 sequence, which we edited. During the Rio Games, we produced a total amount of 7,000 hours of content. And here you have one example, which is 2 minutes out of probably in Beijing 5,500 hours that was produced. And this normally never appears anywhere because the rights are with the IOC, the TV channels, they don't really use it all the time, but we don't want this to lie always just in the archive. So that is one of the reasons why we installed the Olympic Channel. That is a back-end website where a National Olympic Committee or an athlete or a federation can go to. We need to just once green-light that website. The IOC, we always say, makes a lot of money, which is not completely true. We gain a lot of money for the Olympic movement, but 90% of all the money goes back to the Olympic movement. And the only thing that we require if someone wants to embed this is the commercial environment. Of course, with our top sponsors that we are not allowing to have suddenly a competitive sponsor to be in the environment of footage which covers the Olympic Games. But the National Olympic Committees are easy because they have the same kind of top sponsors that the IOC has. But international or national federations, they probably have different ones. An example, we have currently Toyota as our top sponsor, and probably here would be someone driving a car, which is probably Skoda. So we want to avoid, from a commercial perspective, that this is linked to each other. That's why if someone wants to embed this, the person, the entity needs to agree that there is no commercial environment around it. It's an editorial environment, it's fine. But then a National Olympic Committee of Slovakia, the Canoe Federation of Slovakia, the International Canoe Federation can actually embed this video. It's still lying on our servers. We have the full control on the property, but it's appearing as a window and a frame in the website of an athlete, of the federation. And here we have tons of examples where people can actually embed it and have it integrated in their website. On the front end, this is the Olympic Channel website that is currently up. What I showed you right now is really live. It's not on a presentation that is running from a video. I'm connected to the Wi-Fi that you're using here as well. And this is the website. And you can see what we've done in the Olympic Channel website is we have events coming up. We cover sometimes live events. For example, let's see. We have currently the table tennis Asian Championships, which are on the Olympic Channel coming up, and people can watch it. We have something from the Gymnastics Federation in Baku from 16th to 22nd of September, the rhythm gymnastic. We have badminton coming up. So we created the Olympic Channel as well as a platform, as a distribution platform for sports organizers. They sometimes have the problem, and you probably know, you go to a TV channel because you want to market your event, and the TV channel says, yeah, thank you very much, but no thank you. So what we wanted to create is a platform where someone can go and say, hey, we have that event. We will not cover the production, because then it would be a tremendous job that we would have to do. But if someone has a production in place, and if the event is from an international interest and international perspective, like here, the Asian Championships, which covers more than just one country, then we're actually checking it and looking into if we can broadcast it through the means of the Olympic Channel, and people can watch it. This gives the organizer the possibility to go to sponsors and say, hey, we have a distribution, we can show it. And this is always the kind of question, what was there first, the egg or the egg? which means you want to have sponsors, and the sponsors ask you, but where is it shown? And if you don't have a TV channel that can show it, you'll have difficulties getting the sponsor. So we wanted to crash a little bit this line and say, we'll establish a distribution platform for the whole Olympic movement, and the whole Olympic movement is all National Olympic Committees around the globe. We have currently 206. We have all the international federations. We have the recognized federations, the non-recognized federations. And for example, we have had this weekend in Hungary, in Budapest, the first edition of the Urban Games. They were shown on the Olympic Channel. They were shown on some other TV channels in Hungary as well, but the distribution was mainly done through the Olympic Channel. We have in October coming up the first edition of the World Beach Games in Doha. This will be shown on the Olympic Channel as well. The Olympic Channel is not only a digital platform, we actually team up with our broadcasters that run the Olympic Games on their channels. So if you travel tomorrow to the United States, you go in any hotel room that has then the Comcast and NBC package, you can actually see a linear version of the Olympic Channel with selected content that is co-produced between us and NBC. If you travel to Brazil, we teamed up with Globo. If you go into Japan, we have the consortium of NHK and some others where we have not a full channel, but at least a window where they do every week now content and they show it. So the first idea was attacking the youth through the digital channels, and the second idea was still working closer with our linear TV operators. We are now working with CCTV in China to get into China as well. The Olympic Channel content is not blocked from China, so if you are in China, you can actually watch the Olympic Channel, because our relations with most of the governments, even the most restrictive ones, are actually very good, so that this piece of content can actually be watched as well out of China, for example. We put a lot of money as well into what we called the originals. That is productions that we are doing. One of the very successful ones, specifically for the area here, more for Czech Republic, but I know Slovakia is not that far. We have had great footage from the Olympic Winter Games in Nagano. And even you may remember that in Nagano, where for the first time the NHL players could take part, everyone thought it's either Soviet Union or it's USA or probably Canada winning. At the end, the gold medal went to the Czech team. And we had a camera at that time in Nagano, which was filming in the IMAX format. And we have a Hollywood producer, Frank Marshall, who turned that IMAX footage into a documentary. He went back to the athletes who competed at the time. He did a lot of interviews. So we did something which we call the Nagano tapes. And we aired that for the first time, actually premiered it during the Pyeongchang Games, because that was as well the anniversary of these games. So we put a lot of production into the specific documentary. You can see here, we did one currently is all around, is about gymnastics. We have others. One example here, the question, and I'll play that as a good example. Is it possible, we have a series which is called Possible, is it possible for a Paralympian to run the 100 meters under 10 seconds?
Hi, I'm Jason Smith, fastest Paralympian on the planet. Is it possible for a Paralympic athlete to run the 100 meters in under 10 seconds?
At 8 years of age, Jason Smith's life changed irreversibly with the diagnosis of a degenerative eye disease. As a teenager, he discovered that disability was not something you can run away from, and a gold medal-laden career ensued. In his 30s, Jason is now the fastest athlete on earth in the T13 category. Jason, have you always been this fast on track, even as a young child?
I was always quick, but does that mean quick on the track? You don't ever know until eventually I got involved, thanks to a school teacher.
You compete in the T13 category. Can you give us an idea of your vision limitations and what does that mean within the Paralympic categories?
There's different levels of vision within it, and some people have tunnel vision. My eye condition would be the opposite. I have an eye condition called Stargardt's. The T13 category is roughly about 5 to 10% vision. T12 category up to about 5%, and then obviously T11 is completely blind.
For someone watching at home, why sometimes they actually see athletes running with a guide and sometimes they don't?
So you have T11 completely blind who are allowed a guide. T12, you actually have the option, but obviously with guides there's rules where the guide can't finish ahead of the athlete and things like that. And then T13 has no guides at all.
What do you see when you're running? What can you pick up?
I would see a white white line, and then obviously the ready orange track, so you start to know where the white lines are. It's hard to anticipate something because you don't see it until it's necessarily around you. You see athletes dipping at the finish line, but a lot of times I feel like I don't know till I'm there.
He is stronger probably than some other athletes at the start of a track, listening to the start gun, what's going on in the environment, and he's very much just, it's about me, so therefore his ability to focus and harness in is really strong.
I remember, I think it was at London 2012, she had the camera on the side and I could just see something dark coloured here and I was like, who's that? But it was actually the camera. But again, this is normal.
And that camera that follows you on the side keeps up with you, so...
The faster you go, the faster it goes. In sprints, people prefer the middle lane, and that's because it's easier to get a sense of where everybody is around you.
Do you kind of have the track memorized? Do you know how many steps it takes you to finish a race?
Yes, I would have a rough idea of what it needs to be, but I wouldn't know exactly that I'm counting it. Obviously, you need to have the right things done in training. You need to be in the best shape that you are, but what goes on in between the ears then becomes the real big part that gets you over the line.
You've trained with some amazing athletes, and Tyson Gay is one of them as well. Did it help you go faster?
Yeah, it was incredible. If you want to try and be the best, a good way to do that is learn from the best and learn from people that are better, because all it does is make you up your game, and my level and my performance moved up.
He's one of the best Paralympic athletes because he can compete really well with able-bodied athletes. He's actually the Northern Ireland record holder for the 100 metres outright, so he's shown that when there's competitive races and competitive people against him, he can raise his game and run really, really fast.
Jason, you currently hold the world record in the T13 category, 10.46. That's a super impressive time. Do you think you can go faster?
I can, yes. My personal best is 10.22 seconds, but you've got to actually run the world record at a Paralympic event, and a lot of my competitions I compete at aren't Paralympic events. The honest next step is 10.1, and then it's 10.0. Is it possible? It absolutely is, and if things weren't possible, I wouldn't be standing here. I wouldn't have had the success I've had, and that's what sport is at the top level. Is who cares what the limits are? It's about what is possible.
That is, well, one example which can inspire. Sorry for that. I wanted to actually not do the autoplay. I just want to go nicely back. But that can inspire, and that's an example that even a national federation or a national Olympic committee can produce, because that piece of content can be running as well during the Olympic Games, because it's not showing any footage of these current Olympic Games, so it's not one of the exclusivity that we sold to the TV stations. It's something that can be done, it's a piece that can be shown, and that is as well something where how we can attract people and audience during the games to our platforms on the national level, on the federations level, on NOC level, or even on athletes level. That is something I just wanted to show you. We of course have then as well here the different sports on the Olympic channel, where you can search all the sports, you can as well search all the athletes. And if I type Danka in, we have 2 in the system. If I go to Bartekova again, I'm not sure if we have already the latest results from this weekend in. I would say no, it's more the Olympic medals that you can see here. But you can see as well all the video and stories that we have about her. And there you see again the stories that we have seen. This one we already played, so I will not go into that again. But you see, you can surf, you can find things, and this is basically the idea that we had. We can switch back to the presentation that I had, leaving the live internet. And then I go to this one, which just gives you, the Olympic channel was launched on 2016, 21st of August. This year we've celebrated our 3rd anniversary, so it's still a baby. It's 3 years old. But in the 3 years, we managed already to have a total amount of users coming to the platform, really, which is about 40 millions. But if you see how many people were watching really the social media videos, that is beyond the 2 billions already, because some of the videos that we're showing, we put on social media. We try to have the right balance between keeping videos on our platform and still putting sequences, promotional sequences into the social media. We are very proud of the average watch time on social media because that is really tremendous. You see, it's about 8 minutes 10, where normally it's way below. People normally stay for 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes on the social media, which shows that lots of this content that has been produced is really cool for the people to watch. And next year, when we're heading into the Tokyo Games and the Lausanne Games, but for Tokyo we do it completely different, the Olympic Channel will produce the Tokyo web and app site. And that's when we really try then to see how we bring the people that are going during the games to the website of the games and can then bring them later and bridge them to the next edition of the games. So that's a little bit the idea, what our president had in mind. It's a lot of challenges, but it's a lot of opportunities for us as well. And I am super happy. I am about 8 minutes faster with the presentation than the timing is telling me. And we had another 5 minutes for question and answers, but I like actually to interact with you a bit more. So that's our challenge, what we put on ourselves. That's a lot of opportunity that we have, not just for ourselves, but as well for you in the different countries of this world. And I'm super happy if you have some questions. Let's see if this technology was working and you got some questions in. And I'm happy to start discussing with you on a more personal base, question and answers.
Well, there's one question right now, so another question, but big respect for Olympic Channel. Love your shows on channel Generation Y.
What is Generation Y? I'm too old for that.
Probably it's older than millennials. Or younger than millennials. Sú to mladší, generácia Y. To sú mladší ešte ako 85. Aha, takže, well, we have something like Husákové deti. It's a generation of late 60s through the 70s, and 80s, it's Generation Y.
Okay, so my generation.
Well, okay, your. So it's a compliment. What do you think?
Thank you.
Why especially the generation, let's say mid-30s and 40s, are excited about this channel?
Well, I need to say I would be more happy if we have more generation 18, 20, 24 who would be excited, but that still takes time to get them. I think this generation, and it shows if you watch the television, the people are super satisfied with the coverage of Olympic Games. The Japanese are the worst ones in this. During the Olympic Games, the Japanese people watching probably 16 to 18 hours per day Olympic footage. I don't know when they sleep and I don't know when they work during this time, so the GDP of the country normally should go down. But it shows that this generation really loves sports, loves the Olympic Games, and the Olympic Games is different than just the World Championships. When do you actually watch the shooting? You rarely watch the shooting, but at the Olympic Games you suddenly watch the shooting. The same with the sport where I'm coming from fencing. The fencing World Championships, they take place every year, but it's rarely covered. So I think what this generation likes is that we bring the pieces of content and all these stories actually on a day-to-day basis back to the people, and not just in the 17 days when you actually have the head like this with all the videos that are coming. You know how many videos, signals we did parallel during the games in Rio de Janeiro? What do you think? Guess.
1 billion?
No, I'm talking about signals that are going out of...
signals.
Yeah, so how many broadcast signals we were sending out in parallel? So you have 35 sports. You would probably say if every sport has at the same time, you go with 35 signals. But we did a maximum of 100 signals in parallel. So it's actually a huge possibility of selection what you can watch. And I think this is probably one of the reasons. We're not just telling the stories of the life, we're telling the stories as well behind. Like the topic with the Paralympic athlete, it explains a bit better what does it actually mean. Because if you see this guy running during the Olympic or Paralympic Games, you will say, hey, what is his disability? Why is he running here? But then when you see that he's actually blind and you try to see it and visualize it, I think these are the stories what everyone who loves sports likes.
So you try to offer insight into the sport, into the specifics of these concrete sport that the shows or the sport events actually are about.
Yeah.
Great. Another question. Does the launch of Olympic Channel influence the TV rights for the games?
In a way, yes. In a way, no. That's a typical legal answer then. What it does is, for example, the president, after he was elected, signed a contract with a small TV entity called NBC, and we signed a deal up to 2032 with a total amount of $7.4 billion US. So of course, NBC wants to have the exclusivity in that territory. And if you put it back here to Europe, we have currently the discussion, Eurosport Discovery has the rights, and then they sub-license the different TV stations. The TV rights holders, they're working very close with us. So within the 7.4 billion of NBC, there was a portion amount for the Olympic Channel. And we launched with NBC in the US an Olympic Channel, which means we make the content available outside of the games. NBC alone would not be doing this, but because they would not have the means to produce every day enough content. But they probably can produce per day 3 hours of content. We produce every day 3 hours of content, and the 3 hours and the 3 hours make 6 hours. And these 6 hours is content that NBC loves to air in the US on a daily basis and change it, put suddenly the FINA World Championships into this channel as well. So actually, for the moment, all the discussions with our rights holders are super positive. We're discussing with CCTV currently to get an Olympic Channel into China. And it's more a contribution and an add-on than a competition and against each other.
You mentioned Japan, you mentioned right now China. It's a huge market, of course, especially or of course as well for you. But you said that you are working or you are in functional for 3 years. From which part of the world are the most clicks or visits to your website?
For the moment, it's clearly the United States, but that is as well because the biggest language that we use is English. Mm-hmm. So that is very simple. Some of the original content that we have been producing is done in up to 11 languages, so you can have it subtitled. Mm-hmm. We're currently working with the Czech Olympic Committee on subtitling more of the things as well in Czech language, so that more people in their markets can watch and understand it. But the main language is really English, and this is something where it takes us probably another 3, 4, 5 years to localize more, to get more into other languages, and then we'll have more clicks from other countries. Currently, we started a special version for Japan, and the clicks are raising tremendously in the Japanese market. So the more you go into the language of the people, the more you go into the market and you get the clicks.
So you think that you are just at the beginning at localization of this Olympic Channel, for example? Yeah. So it's going to be continuing?
It's probably something what you can take from the music industry. MTV started at the beginning with an English version globally, and then there were some copy-pasters who did local music stations in the countries, and then MTV said, maybe we should do that as well, and then MTV actually did the different local versions as well, and you have today a kind of global operation of MTV, where you can see the more you go into the different languages, the better it is. But even from a local perspective, I might take an example from the Dutch Olympic Committee. They have done during the Olympic Games, you know, the athletes are at the competition. After competition, they go to doping control. Then they go to the press conference. And then hopefully then they can go to their fans in the house of their Olympic Committee. Mm-hmm. And the Dutch NOC did something very interesting. They put a specific taxi in orange color, and they transported the athletes in this orange taxi from the Olympic venue to their house. And in that taxi, they did interviews with them. And this interview they made available on the website. So as well, there are possibilities, even for smaller national Olympic committees and federations, to actually produce content during this top event and engage with your own fans.
Well, it's a huge topic, so we could chat a little bit longer. But I'm not saying goodbye, because you're gonna be a part of the next panel.